There's a moment on a variety show stage that Zhang Linghe probably didn't think would end up dissected by millions of people online. It wasn't a red carpet interview. It wasn't a press junket. It was a silly game segment on a Chinese talk show. The kind where celebrities are handed a task that's supposed to be lighthearted filler between the real promotional talk. The task was simple. Draw a portrait of the person sitting next to you. That person happened to be Tian Xiwei. What came out of that 5-minute segment turned into one of the most talked about "did he really just say that?" moments of the year. Let's back up for a second, because to understand why this moment hit so hard, you need to understand what these two had already been through together. Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei starred opposite each other in the historical drama Zuyu, playing a general and a butcher's daughter thrown together by fate and, according to basically everyone who watched it, way too much on-screen chemistry for two people who supposedly have zero off-screen relationship. The show became one of the breakout hits of the year, crossing over 10 billion combined views across platforms. But it wasn't just the ratings that made people obsessed. It was the way these two behaved around each other, on camera and off. Fans started calling them Tian Xiwei, a nickname built from characters in both their names that roughly translates to made for each other. And once a fandom gives a pairing a name like that, there's no going back. Every glance, every hand gesture, every matching accessory becomes evidence in an ongoing investigation that never actually closes. So when the two of them sat down for that portrait drawing game, the internet was already primed to notice everything. Zhang Linghe picked up his pen and started sketching Tian Xiwei's face. And when it came to her eyes, he didn't just draw them. He lingered. He shaded them carefully, added detail most people wouldn't bother with in a 2-minute doodle exercise. The host, ever the professional troublemaker, asked him why he made her eyes so bright, so detailed, compared to the rest of the sketch. And Zhang Linghe, without missing a beat, said it was because her eyes are full of stars. Now, if you've spent any time in the world of celebrity commentary, you know that a line like that, delivered on live television, in front of cameras, in front of her, is not something that just slides by unnoticed. Tian Xiwei's reaction said just as much as his words did. She looked down, smiled in that way people do when they're trying not to smile too much. And for a second there were dimples that the cameras caught in high definition. Fans immediately froze the clip, zoomed in, and started building out the entire emotional timeline of that 4-second exchange like forensic analysts working a case. Because here's the thing about Zhang Linghe. He's not someone who casually hands out compliments like that. People who follow his interviews closely will tell you he tends to be guarded, especially about anything that could be read as romantic. He's talked before about preferring what he calls complementary relationships, the kind where two very different personalities balance each other out. And somehow, in nearly every interview where that topic comes up, Tian Xiwei's name ends up attached to the example, whether directly or through some detail that fans immediately connect back to her. The egg yolk thing is a perfect example. He's mentioned before that he loves egg yolks. She, famously, cannot eat them due to an allergy. Small detail. Except once fans heard both facts, they couldn't unsee the pattern. It became one more thread in a growing tapestry of coincidences that this fandom has been stitching together for over a year now. And that's really the heart of why this stage moment landed the way it did. It wasn't an isolated compliment. It was one more data point in a much longer story that fans have been tracking obsessively, piece by piece, since these two first crossed paths. Let's talk about how far back this actually goes. The two of them first appeared together, publicly back in November of 2023, at an awards show where they were photographed standing at a noticeable distance from each other. Some fans point to reported tension between their management teams, a rivalry that supposedly traces back nearly a decade to a billing dispute. For a while, that distance seemed to define their public. Dynamic, formal, careful, almost deliberately unconnected. Then Zuyu happened, and everything changed. Behind-the-scenes footage from the drama started leaking out, showing a completely different relationship than the guarded, distant one fans had seen at that first event. There's a scene fans refer to as the candy kiss, a tender, hesitant moment between their characters that reportedly took several takes. And behind-the-scenes clips showed the two of them dissolving into laughter and, in some cuts, an actual kiss that wasn't quite in the script. There's another moment, often called the neck grab kiss, that fans still bring up as one of the most intense scenes in the whole drama. And then there's the wire fear story, where Tian Xiwei reportedly struggled with heights during a stunt sequence, and Zhang Linghe made faces at her off-camera just to keep her from panicking. Small moments, but they add up. And when you're dealing with two actors who supposedly can't stand each other's management teams, small moments like that start to feel a lot more significant than they normally would. By the time the drama wrapped, Fans were tracking something they called the 15 coincidence, the date they first appeared together at that award show, the date filming began, the date of the wrap party where a now famous photo was posted, all reportedly falling on the 15th of their respective months. Whether that's meaningful or just the kind of pattern-matching fans do when they want something to be true. It became part of the mythology surrounding this pair regardless. Then came the ending of the drama, and with it, a controversy that actually pulled the CP conversation into mainstream entertainment news. When Zuyu wrapped, Zhang Linghe posted a handwritten farewell message thanking the cast and crew. In it, he referred to Tian Xiwei only as a colleague, not by name, not with any personal warmth, just colleague, for a fandom that had spent months building an entire emotional narrative. Around these two, that word landed like a bucket of cold water. Some fans speculated he was distancing himself deliberately, maybe to protect an upcoming project, maybe to manage expectations before a new drama pairing was announced. And then, hours later, Tian Xiwei posted her own farewell. 9 photos, the standard format for these posts. The first 7 were behind-the-scenes shots from filming. The 8th was something else entirely, a modern-day photo of the two of them together. Her in a white veil, him in a black suit, both looking at each other in soft, backlit lighting that looked almost exactly like a wedding photo. The image spread everywhere, hundreds of millions of views within hours. And the internet split immediately into 2 camps. One accusing her of embarrassing him by publicly pushing the romantic narrative he'd just tried to shut down. The other praising her as graceful and warm for giving fans a proper send-off after everything they'd shared on screen. That contrast, one word versus one photograph, became its own viral moment entirely, separate from anything either of them said in an actual interview. Since then, the two have kept finding ways to end up in the same conversation, even when they're not physically together. In late May, Zhang Linghe posted a travel video from New York. 21 minutes later, Tian Xiwei posted her own video from Singapore. Fans immediately calculated that the gap lined up with the anniversary of their first appearance together, 520 days earlier, and treated the timing as far too precise to be accidental. Then in June, it happened again. Tian Xiwei posted a video of herself, singing a song with lyrics about telling someone clearly that you love them. A week later, Zhang Linghe posted a nighttime walking video near his old university, originally set to a song with lyrics about the wind carrying away his longing. He deleted it within minutes and reposted with different music. Fans noticed the swap immediately, and the theory took off that the first choice had been too revealing, an accidental confession set to music. Quickly walked back once he realized what it looked like. Neither of their teams has ever confirmed or denied any of this. No statement, no interview, nothing on the record beyond the professional press tour answers you'd expect. In fact, one entertainment commentator went out of his way to publicly state that the two of them, in his words, could not possibly be dating, citing that long-running tension between their agencies as reason, enough to shut the rumors down completely. But here's the thing about fan communities like this one. A denial from a gossip commentator doesn't really settle anything. If anything, it adds fuel, because now there's a narrative of forbidden connection layered on top of everything else. Two people whose teams supposedly can't stand each other, finding their way back to one another anyway, on stage, in interviews, in matching black-framed glasses, in gestures that either mean absolutely nothing or mean everything, depending on which side of this debate you're standing on. So where does that leave us with the stage moment that kicked this whole thing off? The portrait, the pen lingering over her eyes, the line about stars, the smile she couldn't quite hide. Maybe it's nothing. Actors spend months together building chemistry for a camera, and sometimes that chemistry doesn't just switch off the moment filming wraps. Maybe it's exactly what it looked like to the fans, who replayed that clip 100 times. Either way, nobody involved has said a word to confirm it, and until they do, this story stays exactly where fandoms like this one thrive best, in that space between what was said, what was shown, and what everyone decided to believe. Subscribe for more of Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei updates.